You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers, but we got Uncle Rico. What's going on, man?
Yo, Ryan, it's your uncle, Rico.
Hey.
Hey, I was just listening to a pod from before the Lions game, and Jersey Mike called in and said the league should be making decisions on whether players can play like Tua. No, Mike, the league is already stupid, does stupid stuff. You can't, sorry, I'm not trying to disrespect you, buddy, but they have doctors. The doctors say that Tua is healthy. That's all they can do. The league is not doctors. They have doctors. Doctors have examined Tua and said he's good to go. When the league starts making those kind of decisions, then we're in big trouble. Oh, Jordan, he has a headache today. Oh, sorry, Jordan. You're done with your NFL career. You're going to have to go home and bag groceries. You know what I'm saying? We got to let the people who know what they're doing do what they do. Rico out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know the alternative. You know, I mean, we need to have experts in positions, and they need to make those determinations. Certainly doesn't mean that they're not going to make wrong decisions and that they couldn't do those things correctly. But if that's not the plan, then I don't know what the plan is. I've said personally that I don't like the Tua thing, and I am really worried about how that's going to turn out. But I also said I have no idea. I'm not a neurologist. I don't know how these things work. And maybe you can just take lots and lots of blows to the head like that and just keep going and everything's going to be fine. I don't know. I don't know if these things, maybe they don't compound. I don't believe that that's true, but I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. The NFL is obviously very worried about things like liability and decided to let him play. And as far as bagging groceries, I will say he's never going to do that. He got a huge contract, so he'll be fine. Hello? Nobody? Okay. Fair enough. 1265 fan, what's up?
Ryan Schlip.
Here we go.
How you doing?
Hi.
Good, glad to hear it. I'm sick and tired of talking about sick and tired Packers. How about we talk about something more fun?
Sure.
I know you had mentioned movies. I'm not watching comedies, but I am a horror flick chick.
Love it.
So I got a cool bundle the other day.
Yes.
And I already have, so I have Fandango on my Roku, and I usually don't buy movies, okay? But I got enthralled with 31 by Rob Zombie, so I bought that a while ago and I liked it. And then I've been wanting to watch The Joker so bad that yesterday I bought The Joker. Oh my God, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I like the sick and wrong stuff. And then
it was kind of weird because it took me a while to watch Joker, and when I did, it didn't like blow me away. It was a decent movie, but it's one of those movies that every time I see it, it's like, well, I want to watch that again. It's very rewatchable. It's not, there's some movies you watch and you're like, that was good, but I'm never going to watch it again. This was like, I don't know, a 6 or 7 as far as movies go, but I could watch that 100 more times. I don't know what it is about that movie. Maybe that's just me, but it's like that.
I also bought last night after I got done watching Joker because I was in the horror mood. I found a bundle for $25. I got 5 movies.
Okay.
So they're original horror flicks. I got They Live, which that's one I've never seen. So I started with that last night. I haven't watched the rest of these yet. I mean, since I bought them. I've seen them before. But, so I watched They Live. That was okay.
Okay.
I think that was like if I had to take a guess, late 70s, early 80s movie? Maybe late 80s? Somewhere in there. And then, Psycho. Oh, can't wait to watch that. The Thing. These are all the original ones. The Thing.
Okay.
Frankenstein, and The Birds. Oh, I like The Birds, too. So this is going to be a fun day. Unfortunately, I was going to sit here and drink some coffee and watch another one of these, but now my friend just texted me and her cat flipping ran away again. The last time the cat was gone 4 months and she finally found it. That's unbelievable. It was in the middle of winter. I'm shocked. But anyway, so I'm going to go take my dog for a walk and see if he's in the area, if I can see him. I swear. Anyway, I suppose I should go. She's texting me again. Have a fun Saturday, everybody. And you know what? Let go a little bit. Don't think about the Packers today. You know, give yourself a day off. Screw them. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Yeah, look, I mean, there are some really good old school movies. Like I said, I went through the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Of course, I didn't finish all of them. Started going down other pathways. But some, and plus I couldn't get some of them, and I started getting really ticked off, and I went down a huge rabbit hole to try to find like the illegal streams of it. I still couldn't find the freaking thing. People got to do a better job of just putting those up on X so we can just watch them. The Wild West over there. Some of those movies, though, I think are terrible, and I got to be honest. I have a feeling I'm a little bit younger than you, based on just the tastes that you've laid out. Like, my dad's generation was into some of those things, especially The Birds. I watched that as, I don't know, like a 12-year-old, and I'm like, this is the dumbest freaking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. My aunt's telling me how, like, I couldn't sleep, it was the scariest thing. I think it's Alfred Hitchcock or whatever. And I watched that, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing. And sometimes you think, well, it's because it's older. They didn't make a lot of good movies back then. It's like, bull crap, dude. Like The Exorcist and whatnot, those are good movies. Now, I don't know the exact timeline. Interesting enough, I had the robot kind of break this down here just for fun. Kind of a timeline of horror movies. So it's, presumably started. I mean, I'm sure there have been horror books or whatever else, but as far as movies go, 1920s through 40s was the silent and early sound era. So you had Nosferatu, Dracula and Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, The Wolf Man, all that kind of stuff. 1950s was the Atomic Age. The Invasion of the Body Snatchers so it's a lot of, Cold War type stuff or whatever. 1960s psychological horror, Psycho, The Haunting, Rosemary's Baby, Night of the Living Dead is a good movie. I like Night of the Living Dead, I really do. They're coming for you, Barbara. Rosemary's Baby, I think I saw and didn't care for, but these are good. 1970s was the birth of modern horror. So you had The Exorcist in 73, fantastic. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 74, fantastic. Carrie, I haven't seen in forever. I think I watched that once. I should go back and watch it again. Halloween, obviously legendary in 78. Alien in 70. The 70s were fantastic. Holy crap. 1980s, you had the slashers, The Shining, Poltergeist, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, all fantastic. 1990s was psychological and meta horror, Silence of the Lambs, Scream, The Blair Witch Project, things like that. The 2000s, found footage and international horror, so Blair Witch obviously inspired these, but The Ring, Saw, Paranormal Activity. 2010s through 2020s, elevated horror and revival of classics. Of course it's revival of classics, because since 2010 they didn't know how to do anything but revive stuff, although some of them are quite good. The Conjuring, It Follows, Get Out, Hereditary is fantastic. There have been some really good recent horror movies. Like if you look at some of the best, it's hard to compete with some of them like Hereditary, and The Conjuring is quite good. But The Birds, it says, was 63. So that was in the Psycho, Haunting, Rosemary Berry's Night of the Living Dead era, which I guess I can understand why, whatever, but I don't know. I think it's going to be hard to watch something from the 60s at this period and be scared, but you can still make a good movie. I think Night of the Living Dead is a good movie. I don't think The Birds is a good movie. I think it's a stupid movie, and I don't think it's scary, and so I don't think it hits. You know what I mean? As far as for me today, it's not a hit. Anyways, appreciate you bringing that up. It's something fun to kind of look into. Sorry for everybody that doesn't like horror movies, but we're going to learn something today. Still a little early. Bill from South Carolina. What's going on, man?
Hey, Ryan. This is Bill in South Carolina. About a week after the game almost, and just kind of just now, like, almost getting over it. But yeah, I always call in and talk about how we always make it hard on ourselves and finally caught up to us. And I'm usually extremely positive, but 1,000,000% not positive after that debacle. I was saying in the beginning of the week, we need to give Love extra time to, not in hindsight, but I was saying in the beginning, to give him time to get 3 weeks of great rest so we can have him for the rest of the year and for the playoffs if we make it, but we should. But my big thing is the coaching, the head coach. The head coach, his main deal is to have the players ready to play.
Sure.
Here we are, nine games in, and it looks like the first game of the year with the penalties and all this stupid stuff. You got to have that all clean. That's the head coach. You have to be able to make hard decisions. You don't ask your quarterback if he's okay to play. You make that decision. You have to make the hard. Before, he was always kind of, we knew that Aaron was running things, and he hated that. Well, now you don't have that to blame. You're the head coach. You make the decisions. You have to make the hard decisions. So, Matt, get your players ready to play the damn game and make the hard decisions. And when the bullets are flying in the big games, be ready to go. So, yeah, a little less time with the manicures and the pedicures and a little more time in the office, getting things ready and in the practice field, making sure these guys aren't making the same dumb mistakes over and over and over and over. Okay. Yeah, and now I'm negative. Anyway, all right, thanks a lot. Bye.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it really comes down to two things. I mean, the buck stops with the head coach, but then there's also the culture aspect of it. There's a aspect of the guys in the locker room and the general locker room culture, and I think those two things need to be married together. Again, you look at great teams. I hate to bring up the Lions, but they are a good example. You've got the head coach who brings a culture, and that culture bleeds down into the locker room, and it's all one thing, and they're all very focused. They make very few mistakes, and that's just the way it goes. The Packers have a lot of good things. The Packers have always had a hard time just making the good things as good as they should be. They make everything look way too hard. In my opinion, I think if anybody's dragging anybody, the GMs, and I'm talking Ted Thompson as well as Brian Gutekunst, for a lot of the time, have done a lot of the heavy lifting. I know there's a lot of complaining over the years, and there are some years where things were bad and we didn't have a lot of talent. I think the Packers have generally underperformed. This goes back a long ways, considering the amount of talent that they've had on their team. And ultimately, that does come down to coaching. Now, we've seen it revved all the way up. We saw the 2020 Packers last year, the second half of the season, just this sort of, holy crap, this is a talented team. It's there. But they make it way too hard, in which they're, first of all, inconsistent. You only see it once in a while, or you only see it for a half a season, or whatever the case may be. And it takes too long to get there, and it's too inconsistent. It's just, at some point, you just have to be good, And again, I don't know how to fix it necessarily. But this comes down to the culture, and that starts at the top with the head coach. But it's a new day. I think everybody understands the issue, and we just need to start seeing better football. There's no more excuses. It is mid-season. We are past the halfway mark. It is time to stop with the mental mistakes. It is time to stop making stupid decisions as a quarterback. It's time to stop dropping passes. Wicks, I'm especially looking at you. Catch a frickin' ball. I don't care if the ball is not perfect. Catch the damn thing. It's the only job you have on this team is to catch. You are an expert in one thing and one thing only, and that's catching. And I have high expectations for your ability to do that one thing. Jordan, try to give him easier balls, will you, please? These triple coverage suicide balls and the, having to do spinning, wizard catches. I don't even know what the heck that means. I was going for ninja, but I couldn't think of it, so I just said wizard. But we'll see how it goes. We'll take a break. We'll be back and hear from Pac-Man Jersey Jim.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Pac-Man Jersey Jim. Just want to thank you for breaking down that Preston Smith thing the other day. Yeah, everybody's going crazy about, oh, my God, we let go of Preston Smith. And I'm like, whatever. Me and my son loved him like a couple years ago, and It just wasn't happening. Like, he just was not doing what he's supposed to do. So, I think that was a good thing that we pushed him forward to get a couple picks, and I know a lot of people are pissed off, like, fifth, seventh round, whatever. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, when things ain't working, you kind of have to try to make it work in your favor or not. I mean, if this goes south with the picks, whatever. You could get somebody good. You don't know. And you can even trade those picks in the future to get somebody decent. All I know is that you can't keep doing the same stupid shit and expecting a different result. I'm not Einstein, but I'm pretty sure he said that. I think what everybody should be actually focusing on is Jordan Love. I love the guy. We all know what he can do. We've seen it last year, but the last 6 games. Not the game I was at. I was at the Giant game, freezing my ass off, and that was pretty embarrassing when they lost to Tommy Cutlets. But after that, they played pretty well, and you've seen Jordan Love do his thing. I want to know, is Jordan Love going to do that again? Is Jordan Love hurt? Everybody keeps saying he's hurt. Is he really hurt? Or are they hiding this shit? I mean, it's like, I don't know if I heard it on your show or somewhere else. It was like, it looks like, every time someone's blows, like, ooh, ouch, ooch, ouch. Yeah, like, oh man, I threw on my shoulder or something, or, I'm running on a bad knee.
Oh, you got cut off there. Wait, and then what? 3 minutes got him there, and that doesn't look like he called back, at least not for several hours. So, first of all, with the Preston thing, I've said this a million times, or I've said this in a million different ways. Let me try one more. Another way to view this. If we assume Preston is not coming back next year, which he's not, as soon as this season ends, not making that trade is only negative value. In other words, the only benefit you get from Preston is this year, and we're getting very little to none, if not negative value, from Preston Smith right now. Everything after this season ends, you start the clock on negative value. Because you could have had something that you don't have now. Because Preston's gone, and whatever compensation, in this case, the 7th round pick, is also gone. And whatever it is you were going to do with that, all that value is gone. So you start the clock on continually running negative value. And as far as Jordan, again, we're talking about a lot of the same stuff. So, again, it's difficult to constantly come up with different ways to approach the same freaking subject over and over again. Not your fault, but I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's hurt bad. I don't know if he's a little bit hurt. I don't know what the problem is. If there's problems, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Just is what it is. And hopefully he's going to be healthy, because we had a pretty long break and he's had some time to rehab, get healthy, rest, whatever. So I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Yo, Brian, it's your uncle, Rico.
Howdy.
I get it, buddy. Don Corleone. Just, you gotta. I mean, I don't care if you get him in the first round.
Yeah.
You got to pick a guy named Don Corleone.
Exactly.
I don't even care if he can play football. He can do something for us. Don Corleone. He can call his uncle, and he can make us some freaking meatballs. That's what he can do. It'd be awesome.
The gravy.
Rico out.
Yeah, that was in reference to the mock draft. I forgot about that. I think I drafted a guy with Corleone as his last name. I mean, I don't know how you pass on something like that.
Hey, Ryan, Pac-Man Jersey Jim.
Hey.
I don't know. I feel like we might be in for a treat this week. Maybe a little laughing at the enemy. We got the Bears that lost, and Minnesota that looks atrocious against Jacksonville. So
right,
that would be nice. We can get a little laugh out there. I mean, I had my laugh at the Giants, so that was good. Anyway, it's kind of nice not having a game this week, honestly. Not having to worry about stupid shit, penalties, and just watching some good football. You got the Steelers-Washington game on now. This is interesting. I don't have a dog in a race, but pretty good games. Anyway, go Pack, go, and hopefully we can take care of the Bears next week. Peace.
Yeah, we had laughing at the enemy this morning. There's going to be more tomorrow and probably the next day because I haven't even gotten. I'm keep saving the stuff that I want to talk about till last, and I can't even get there. There's just too much. So yeah, we'll just spend the week talking trash about everybody, specifically the Bears because it's Bears week. But that's going to be it, I think, because it's nonstop. I mean, I can't even keep up with how much is coming out. I will say something on social media or on the podcast, and just in the time it takes me to say it on the podcast, I found 3 new clips of just whatever, just trashing the Bears. So I'm never going to be able to keep up. I mean, this is just absolute insanity. They fired their offensive coordinator. I can't wait to talk about that tomorrow because we got clips of, James Jones saying that Caleb got him fired because he's playing like crap. We got stats on their new offensive coordinator and something I, for the first time ever, actually agree with Brandt. Was it Kyle Brandt, I think? He said something that's like, holy crap, that's a good point. Hilarious. Just awful. I mean, you could argue of all human beings on planet Earth, this is the absolute last person you'd ever want to promote for this job. So we're going to have some fun with that. But yeah, man, we just get to relax. We get to have fun. We get to assume the Packers are going to win because why worry about anything else? And, if they don't, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But we don't need to be having those negative thoughts. You know what I mean? Hi,
Ryan. It's Randy from Minnesota.
Hey.
Couple things. I guess I was on the wagon as one of those over-optimistic Packer fans, but I did not call last week because I was so, let's put it lightly as saying, upset over that game. Yeah, it's got to be better. There's no more excuses. Get yourself squared away, boys. We're halfway through the season. There's no more excuses, and I agree with that. And the other thing is, well, at least we still have the Chicago Bears, the gift that keeps on giving. And this will be fun to listen to this one. Yeah, they lost to the Patriots. I'm just loving life right now. The Vikings, Sam Darnold's turning into Sam Darnold. He woke up and said, oh, yeah, I'm Sam Darnold. I suck at football. And somehow they did get the win, but, yeah, they're going nowhere. I'm really hoping tonight Houston can put on a show and take down Detroit. Anyway, I'm just rambling a mess right now, but thanks for everything you do. Enjoy the calls. Enjoy all the callers. Go Pack, go. Bye.
No matter what, we will always have the Bears. If we have nothing else on this planet, at least we'll have the Bears. But yeah, I mean, focus on the potential, focus on the upside. Jordan Love's a talented dude. Just got to unlock that a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's not get up in our own heads about this. Let's just go out and dominate.
Oh, boy. If these games end the way I think they are, I think Pat Daddy's going to have a field day with the laughing at the enemy this week. You got Philly beating Dallas.
Oh, jeez.
You got the New York Jets, the guys that think that, the grass is grass and or jerseys are greener on the other side of the country losing. I love it. I love it. Go Pack, go. Pack Daddy. Get something going on this, man, because I want to laugh this weekend. Peace.
It was almost a perfect week. I can't remember all the games and all the scores, but I remember looking at it thinking everything right now is perfect. And then you saw the Vikings kind of put that one away. The Chiefs last second frickin' stole that game. I think there might have been another one or two or whatever that I wanted to go a different way, maybe not as consequential, but I was kind of hoping would go another way, and it didn't. But it was just a beautiful, beautiful day, and technically you wanted the Eagles to lose that game, but I don't freaking care, man. It's funny either way. So yeah, it's a good week. It's a real good week. Packers didn't lose. They didn't look bad. There's 0 things to complain about. 0 injuries, 0 mistakes, 0 problems. It's a perfect day for the Packers. And the NFC North won 2 and only lost 1, but the loss was as beautiful as it gets. It's the Chicago Bears losing to the worst team in football. And the 2 other teams I don't think were very impressive. I think the Houston Texans did everything they could to give that game away, despite Detroit trying to give the game away, or at least Goff trying to give the game away. Houston was the more successful team in giving the game away. And for 2 weeks in a row, the Detroit Lions faced opponents that are just absolutely imploding and punching themselves in the face over and over and over again for 4 freaking quarters. And then Minnesota, again, did not look very good, threw a ton of picks, and barely beat a Jaguars team that didn't even have their starting quarterback.
Ryan, that just gave me an idea for a podcast you could do, just to dunk on the Bears some more.
Mm-hmm.
You should do a podcast on all the elite quarterbacks they've passed up. You could even go like all time, but in the last 10 years they've passed up on a lot of good quarterbacks. I think that would be really good to listen to, because they've passed up on some good ones. Yeah. Anyway,
so I did actually do that at one point. It wasn't like an official thing. I think it just kind of came up organically at some point, but just went back and looked over history. Going back to the 90s, I think even maybe even further, looking at all the opportunities they had to get a good quarterback, because they've never had it in their history. And that they've had opportunities. Look at how many good quarterbacks there have been, and they didn't end up getting any of them. So yeah, they've had. I don't remember what they all were, but they've had a lot of opportunities and just didn't. I mean, just recent memory. Obviously, Pat Mahomes is on the minds of a lot of people, but you've also got now C.J. Stroud, even though he's again punching himself in the face for some random reason. Jaden Daniels was right there for the taking. They went with the wrong one. The list is exhaustive.
Anyways, go Pack Go. Here's to next week. I know we're all afraid of the Bears because we just don't want to win, but I don't see a chance in heck that they come up to Green Bay, or are we playing there? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They're so bad. They are just so bad. Maybe Rashawn will get 9 sacks and, resurrect his career.
Ding,
in
ding,
one
ding.
game.
Be prepared for that.
Maybe you could do the whole how many quarterbacks have the Bears passed up in lieu of doing a laughing at the enemy this week, because I'm sure there's plenty of material out there. Anyways, go Pack-Go, and I hate the Bears, and Lions suck, and the Vikings are lame.
Yeah, so it is in Chicago, and I haven't even gotten to this point yet because we haven't even talked about Bears-Packers. It's all just been laughing at the Bears. 6-point favorites for Green Bay. And you might think, well, it's not that big of a deal. It's whatever. I'm pretty sure prior to that game against New England, we were 3-point favorites. After they lost to New England, they dropped to 6-point underdogs. Vegas just completely gave up on the Chicago Bears. They just realized how bad things are and said, holy crap, we got to drop that line.
Yo, Ryan, it's your uncle, Rico.
Who?
Hey, is it here we go again? Is that what's happening? Where fans can't control themselves and get bent out of shape about players that are hurt? A.K.A. Ja. So he's hurt, right? I mean, it's not ideal, but it's... So last year, I think that's what started the whole Jair thing. The reporters, the general public being a bunch of dicks because the guy's hurt and he's not playing. Nobody wants to be him on the field more than himself. I'm positive of that. Jair is a competitor and he wants to be on the field. He's hurt. He can't play. You want him to play hurt? That sounds stupid. So the media last year is jacking him up and it's peeving him off, and as far as I'm concerned, that's what caused most of the problems last year. Are you really hurt? Do you want to play? That's the biggest crock I ever heard. And now it's starting again because football fans are psychopaths. Dude's hurt. What are you going to do? I mean, that's why we have backup players to fill in for when dudes are hurt. I mean, if you wanted to dump him, and then we'll pick up some 50% talent, some guy that's half as good as Jair, that will probably be hurt as well, because that's what happens. Football players get hurt. So, I don't know. You're all nuts for thinking Jair is not wanting to be on the field or wanting to be on another team. It's just craziness. All right, John. Truth spoken. Rico out.
Well, good thing having the robot here. Let's have a little context. Here's a list of Green Bay Packers players that have had issues with injuries. On this list at number 11 is Jair Alexander, also Rashawn Gary, and I think people are beginning to get frustrated with him as well. Also Brian Balaga, Mark Chimura, Amon Green, Robert Brooks, Aaron Rodgers, Bubba Franks, Clay Matthews, Nick Collins, Jermichael Finley, and of course Sterling Sharp, just to name a few. So, I mean, what is the claim that we're making? Is Nick Collins just a piece of crap? Or is he a great player? And that's the thing, like we always look at these guys and it's like, oh, Sterling Sharp, what a great player, cut down by injury. Injury is this horrible thing that happened to him like a cancer. But when it comes to Jair, somehow he's a piece of crap for being injured, for his lack of availability. Is it just like a hindsight thing? Like in the moment, I'm pissed because I want to win, so I'm going to blame the player. But then like afterwards, you know, like so maybe in 10, 15 years, we can look back and go, man, Jair would have been great if it wasn't for those horrible injuries that plagued him. He'll be like another Nick Collins. Did we do this to Nick Collins at the time? Like that guy's a piece of crap. He can't stay on the field. I'm just asking. I don't know. I mean, again, you know, Aaron Rodgers. I've mentioned also Aaron Jones. Guy was hurt all the time. He's hurt again with the Vikings. He's always hurt. That dude can't make it through a full season. Well, so what does that mean? Should we have gone at him? Did we give him a pass? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just don't fully understand what we're getting at with that whole thing, to be honest. But all right, let's take our final break. We'll be back with 1265 Fan.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey.
1265.
What's up?
I was listening to your last podcast about the whole playoff spot, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And you're talking about Jair.
I tell you, man, Google sometimes. So I'm reading ahead and it says, and you're talking about diarrhea. And I'm like, did she say that? Like, I don't think I did. But no, Jair. Okay, I was talking about Jair. That makes more sense than diarrhea.
Being injured and how everybody doesn't back him because of that and yada, yada, yada.
Sure.
I think I know where this comes from. By the way, I love Jair. Freaking love him. He was one of my rookies to watch way back in the day.
Sure.
He actually turned out. Freaking love the man. I have his jersey. I won't wear it during game day because, you know, that whole spiel. Every time I've worn it, he's got injured.
So it's your fault.
But here's the thing with that. I think
you're going to call in and talk down to Jair about his injuries when you're the one responsible for it? Is that what we're doing right now? How dare you? How dare you?
Ever since I've heard this term, availability is your best ability.
Uh-huh.
I think fans take that to heart. Like they can actually change that. Like they have the power to not get injured. I feel like that's where that's coming from. When I heard that, I thought, that's kind of a really weird thing to say. I understand it, but in a way, it's putting that responsibility on the player to have the ability to not get injured. That's kind of the way I see it. And I really do think that's where this is coming from. Everybody says it constantly. And it's not just Jair. It's any player that has injury issues in their career. And is it unfair? Yes, it is unfair. That's the game of football. It's very unfair. I will never say it, especially when it comes to Jair and players I love. But I don't like that term, that availability is the best ability, because it's not an ability. It is not that player's ability. They don't have the ability to choose that. It's something that happens. So it's a stupid term, a stupid way of saying things, and I don't like it. Anyway, go Paco. Bye.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I mean, if we wanted to get into the nuance, you could probably argue that you could put that into a bucket of abilities. Your ability is something that it's whether or not you're able to do something. And if you're hurt, you're not able to do it. So it's an ability you don't have. I do think you're right, though, that it is stupid because we end up putting it into these categories that have to do with things that you can kind of control, right? I mean, we're talking about your mental processing, your accuracy, all these different things that kind of go into a bucket of how talented you are, and it doesn't belong in that bucket because that has nothing to do with it. It's as if somebody came along and hit you with their car and you're not able to go to work and somebody says he sucks at his job because he spent the last month in the hospital. That's very incorrect way of looking at things. Injuries are a thing that happen to you. It's not your inability to do a thing in the same way that, your athletic abilities and your everything else is. Those are different things. But I mean, I understand the spirit of it, but I think you're right. I think because that's become a mantra and because people like to throw that in your face when you try to differentiate, it has become sort of this gateway into blaming players or getting frustrated with players for things that are entirely out of their control, especially really good players, and to sort of demean how good of a player they are by pointing out that, well, you're not that good because you're not available. No, I can't quite take it there.
Darn it, why don't I think of things when I'm actually talking?
I don't know.
Like, I have this whole conversation when I call in a Packernet After Dark, and then I hang up, and I immediately think, well, crap, why did I say this? Okay, one last thing about the whole Jair thing and fans not giving him credit for being a good player. So, what's the difference between Jair and Aaron Jones?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody loves Aaron Jones.
And honestly, that's the exact reason I keep bringing him up, because nobody would dare say anything negative about Aaron Jones. Nobody would do that because he is beloved. Everybody knows he's injured all the time. He's constantly injured. And we had to rely on guys like Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon constantly. And even when he wasn't injured, he was still being only given 12, 13 carries at a time. So we still had to rely on guys that are less capable in the offense because we had to protect him from himself because he's injury prone. He couldn't handle that load. He was going to end up getting injured, and so we needed to protect him from it. Nobody ever talked about Aaron Jones and how frustrating he is because he's not available ever. So it's just, again, this is why it feels unfair to me. I think people just dislike Jair. I don't know if they even understand exactly why. I think they use certain things to justify their frustrations with Jair. And I think a lot of times it's because they're so good. If it was Kingsley and Igbare, no offense to him, nobody really cares if that guy gets injured. It's like, oh, that sucks. Would have been nice to have him. But when Jair gets hurt, you get pissed because it's like, we're going to lose this freaking game. But the problem is turning that anger against the player, which doesn't make any sense. That's the wrong direction to take it.
Nobody would have said the thing to say about Jair, about Aaron Jones. Why is that? He was just as, if not more, injured than Jair. Why is that? Okay, bye.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know. Because you could say the same thing about Aaron Jones. I mean, if he's injured, it's like, oh, crap, dude, we're in trouble. Maybe not as scary as losing Jair, but Yeah, and again, that would be my other thing too, is if once somebody can explain to me what it is we're supposed to do with these players and with our frustrations toward these players, we have to start applying that equally. Because if we go back, there's been a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries. I can't even remember, but pretty much everybody's been on the injury report. A good portion of the team, probably at least 10%, has missed games already. Pretty much everybody that's been on the team for a period of time has had multiple injuries. I mean, I would say it's more of a shocking thing if somebody's either never been injured insofar as missing games or has only had that happen one time and never again. Jair's been on this team for 7 years. Yeah, he's had some injuries, that's for sure. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
What's up, Ryan? Beer Chief Benny here.
What's up?
It is Monday, November 11th.
Getting caught up.
We have finished the bye week. On to the new week. The Packers have to freaking get their minds. I hope they got their minds right. Hang out with their family. Hopefully, it motivated them to, go out there, bust ass. All right, because we're not getting another break until we win the Super Bowl. Because we're winning this damn Super Bowl, brother. It's gonna get figured out. Right. And Matt LaFleur better have a better game plan. But anyways, it is Veterans Day, so anyone listening right now, if you're a veteran, I thank you for your service. And I love you. Anyways,
I was gonna reiterate your sentiment, but I don't know if I want to. No, but absolutely thank you to all the servicemen and women for everything that you have done and are doing and will do for this country. It's very much appreciated. We don't. I think we have a hard time in this country appreciating things sometimes. I have noticed, maybe I just spend too much time on social media, there's a lot of ungratefulness. A lot of people very upset about a lot of things. And whether that's correct or not, maybe not enough time spent sitting around just going, holy crap, everything is awesome. I saw something, somebody was talking about like how, like the system we're in is so unnatural and like bees don't like hoard their wealth and everything else. And I'm like, bro, you want to be a bee? The human race used to live like bees. They used to live under pretty much everybody lived under what is now considered $1 a day. They lived hand to mouth. If you didn't eat, you starved to death and you died. If you got injured and you couldn't work, there's a good chance you were just going to starve to death. I mean, like that was a thing. I don't think it was better. I don't think bees have iPhones. Are you pissed off at having an iPhone? Or what are you talking about? Why are you freaking whining? What are you mad about, bro? You mad because it's like 6 a.m. and you have to get up and go to a job? And you're like, I shouldn't have to do this. I should just get all this cool stuff and not have to work for it. What are you talking about, dude? We're a fortunate bunch. And obviously not everybody that's listening is an American, but I think most everybody around the world is benefiting from just the time period that we live in. And I think every country has some level of gratitude to men and women that serve in the armed forces for just making sure that whatever it is that you got going on, things that you've worked for, built, and worked toward, is protected. And that nobody's going to come in and be like, hey, I'm taking all your crap now. It's like, no, you're not. You're not doing that. So big shout out to the armed forces and the people out there who are risking their lives for us to be able to hoard all our crap. Thank you for that.
Very much looking forward to this. I mean, wouldn't it just be nice, Ryan, if the Packers could frickin' beat the living dog crap out of the Bears?
Let's talk about it.
Because I'm tired of this, they've lost 2 division games at home already. Can we not make it a third? Can we please just outperform another team for once? Like, if this is like the last time that we do it or whatever, and it's just against the Bears, I'm totally fine with that as long as we win the other games. But I want to beat the living crap out of the Bears. I'm talking like I want it to be over at halftime.
Yeah.
All right, that's not going to happen. But basically, I just want it to be not really stressful, and I want the Packers to get like 3 interceptions off of Caleb Williams, and I want him to get sacked like 9 times, like the Patriots sacked him 9 times or whatever the hell it was. So yeah, dude. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week, and you will be hearing me next time on Victory Monday when we beat the shit out of the Bears. We better do it. Come on, Jordan Love. Need a clean game. Offensive line, need a clean game. Stop with the penalties. Please, for the love of God. Anyways, go Pack, go.
Since we're talking about the military, let's put this in military terms for a second. Let's go back to 1941 and Operation Barbarossa. So you probably remember very vaguely this thing in history class. I don't remember much from school, period. But I do remember hearing about how the Germans attacked into Russia. And the problem is Russia's a pretty big country, and Russia kind of douchebags. They would go ahead and burn all the crops and stuff as they retreat. Anyways, it's very hard to sustain an offensive into Russia because the longer and the further away you get, the longer the battle lines and the resupply lines and all that have to run, and it gets to be much more complicated, much more expensive, and much more exhaustive. Not only are you running out of soldiers, you're running out of ammunition, you're running out of fuel. It becomes a problem. Let me read this little snippet here from, I promise there's a point to this. Let me read this little snippet here from the robot. Operation Barbarossa, 1941. The German invasion of the Soviet Union, Operation Barbarossa, initially saw sweeping German victories. However, after the Battle of Stalingrad and Kursk, the German army suffered severe losses and could no longer sustain its offensive. The Red Army, just picture the Red Army as the Green Bay Packers. The Red Army capitalized on Germany's decimated forces and resources. The Soviet Union launched a series of offensives that ultimately pushed the Germans back to Berlin, taking full advantage of the weakened German state to reconquer lost territory and occupy Eastern Europe. What's the point? The point is very obvious. The Bears right now are decimated. You very rarely in the history of an organization will come across a team that is not only so bad, but they are in a completely weakened and demoralized and decimated state. You, on the other hand, are rejuvenated and talented. You have an advantage in that you don't lose to this team ever. Also notice, they didn't just fight back and win the battle. They eviscerated the Germans and took basically all of Europe. This isn't just a matter of, hey, they're in a weakened state, so try to see if you can go ahead and win this thing. The goal here is to absolutely further and totally and completely decimate this team. So yeah, I'm not looking for just a win here. I don't think anything really would be acceptable given the state of the Bears right now than to go in there and eviscerate what is remaining of that team.
Hey, Ryan. It's Daniel from Milwaukee.
Hey.
I haven't called in a while.
I don't know why it's so quiet.
I just got something to get off my chest. The stupid Vikings go down to Jacksonville and score 4 field goals, and they can win a game. And then the Lions, they throw Jared Goff. He is so trash. He throws 5 picks, and they still somehow can win the game. We throw 1 pick 6, and we're screwed. But they can throw 5 picks, and the Texans just give up. They don't know how to score in the second half.
Not once.
It's just so irritating. I watched both of those games, and I'm just like, we can't catch a break. Even when we're on our bye week, we can't catch a break. I mean, luckily the Bears lost, and that was fun, but I don't know. The Vikings and the Lions are getting on my nerves.
Dude, I tell you what, I was the same way. First of all, I think the Chiefs were the first one. I was furious that the Chiefs won that frickin' game. Then the Lions go on to win, and I was beyond. I am so sick of the Lions right now. I've been on an absolute tear against the Bears for years. I am really getting pissed at the Lions. I think they're getting too much love. the Packers are very much to blame. Like I said, the last 2 weeks, I can't speak to every other week, but the last 2 weeks, they have not played well, and they've gone on to win because their opponent just shoots themselves in the face over and over and over and over again. And we got to sit here and listen to, like I said before, after the Packer game, we got to listen to Jared Goff MVP conversations. The guy's a freaking bum. He's not deserving of MVP. And now we got to look as everybody's talking about the Lions being maybe the most dominant team in football, and nobody's disputing that anymore. They haven't played well the last 2 weeks in a row. Yes, they against the Packers at least, played mistake-free football. Congratulations. But it's hard to even give them that moniker when your quarterback throws 5 interceptions. Maybe 4 that were worthwhile. One of them was a Hail Mary, whatever, but ridiculous. They did not deserve to win that game. To be fair, the Texans didn't either. But I'm just freaking tired of it, man. But look, it's also annoying because there's a lot of games coming up. For I think the Lions are playing the Jaguars now, so they're 12.5 point favorites, which just ticks me off so much. And it's I can't even bet against it because I don't believe in the Lions. Because again, the Jaguars have nothing going for them. They don't have a quarterback. They had, 3 interceptions and scored 7 points. They can't do anything. They can't. They're just awful. And so the bottom line is, look, I think the Vikings and the Lions are going to end up with pretty good records. There's a good chance that they both end up in the playoffs. I mean, the Lions are basically 100%. The Vikings, decent chance at this point. We just need to start being a really good team. That's it. Fine, yeah, okay, you got a great record. Maybe you win the North. Screw you. I don't give a damn. It starts by pummeling the Bears. Just destroying the Bears. That's how it starts. Then we let these other teams continually start to fall apart. Let the Vikings slowly start to fall off. Let the Lions continue to fall off. That way, when the time comes and they get to the playoffs and the Packers will beat them, be like, oh man, the Packers actually, it's close. It's not close. They've been sliding for a while. The Packers are heads and tails better than the Lions. You guys don't know what the heck you're talking about. It's not going to matter. You're going to have 3 teams from the NFC North in the playoffs. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's just say. And only one of them belongs there, and that's going to be the Green Bay Packers. That's the situation we need to get to. That's not where we are today, but that's where we need to get to. Just be the better team. We got to face the Bears twice, and we got another game against the Vikings and another game against the Lions, and I don't want to lose a freaking one of those. Not one. Anyways, we're going to end with that. We're a little low on calls. We don't have enough today to fully do a whole episode, so I know sometimes when we get super behind, people are like, probably won't even get there. We are 100% caught up right now, so make sure that you get your calls in. Otherwise, we will just continue with the regular show, laughing at everybody. It's laughing at week, and we're just going to keep laughing, dude. I still have so much stuff. I probably got 2 episodes worth just saved in my folders over here. But you guys have a good rest of your night. I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.